Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horror Not Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ian. Ian, are you there?
I hope so.
No, I'm right there with you, buddy. I know we talked off air a little bit, but I know for both of it has been one of those weeks, and it has been. I don't know. It just seems like every time we come on here, that's always how we start the show. But it's just like one thing after another just happens on our ends, and it's ridiculous. But we get on here and we just break break the chains and just be ourselves and relax and enjoy talking about horror movies, and that's what we do. And we're actually going to do something a little. We haven't done this in a while, Ian, and it's going to be cool because we actually have a brand new in theaters movie review that I'm going to be reviewing, as well as a special back to school. No, well, I call it back to school Boneyard, but it's a we got a special Boneyard episode as well, which is, again, if you already clicked on this, you already know the film. But yeah, like I said, I've just been traveling all week, and I decided, you know what? I need a little bit of relaxation. I just need to calm down and just take it easy for a while. And I went to the theater and I saw Ice Cream Man. And I don't really want to get into a big elaborate review. I want to, just give my thoughts on the film and describe the film. So Ice Cream Man pretty much is pretty straightforward. An ice cream man in his ice cream truck comes into this town and he starts providing ice cream to all the children of the town. There's this baseball game that's happening, and that's when we're introduced to Jared and his friend Elliot at the same time, and they're playing baseball. And Jared, they're just talking back and forth, and so the game ends, and then all the kids go and they have ice cream, and the ice cream man's handing them out treats, and they're just scarfing it down, and they're having the ice cream and the sprinkles and all the on their mouth still, and they're just dirty, with all this ice cream on them, and so all the kids, they go to bed, and so the ice cream man starts going through the town with his ice cream jingle, which is ring a hold on a second, ring a ding dong, ding, ring a ding dong, ring a ding dong. It's the ice cream song, and so that's going on. And there's also like little videos on phones that plays like messages, sort of like the Silver Shamrock and Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, where it's like starts the whole upheaval of the film, where the kids that consume the ice cream start killing the adults of the town, and it's pretty much nonstop carnage from that point on out, where Jared is again trying to understand what's going on with the kids. His friends is like they're acting weird, and of course, he runs into another girl, which was another friends with Mia, and then Tommy comes in a little bit later, and so like them three are trying to survive the onslaught of all the kids going around killing adults in gruesome fashion. And that's the one thing that, again, you can give kudos to the film, is it's over the top violence and gore. It doesn't shy away. The actual first kill is the little girl on the poster sawing her, taking a hacksaw to her mother's head. And then the father wakes up like, what's going on? Did you spill something? And then like he sees her, just hack away at the head. And then it just goes on from there. With just like one had like a shoved up his ear. What's another one that happens? Garbage disposal, and it keeps going on, like the tetherball with the head at the playground. The whole playground scene when they're at the school is like the big, extravagant scene of the film, where everything's sort of, they want to really kind of play it up for laughs, but the theater I saw it in, or the group of people, there's like maybe 15 people there, and this is like the first showing on a Saturday at 7:00, 7:45, and so it like some of the jokes, like, because they're trying to play it up for like gags and jokes, and like some of that didn't land. There's a scene with like a kid that keeps killing himself, and like he jumps off the school building and lands, and then like the teachers comes out and like, oh, what's going on? Like, come on, someone call 911, someone, get help. And then the kids, swarm the adult and attack him, and then the kid just gets up and leaves, and then it happens again later on. And like the scene later on, it just kind of whimpered with like, sort of like a wet fart, like the crowd just like, it's supposed to be there for funny, uplifting laugh scene, but the crowd I was with just like shrugged it off because I don't know, it's a weird crowd. Like honestly, like the film's sort of trying too hard to be something. Like it's just like, yeah, it's kids killing adults in very gruesome fashion, for nonstop an hour and 40 minutes, and just like the kids trying to understand the reasoning behind the Ice Cream Man and why he's at this town. And again, there's a few little plot points that come up a little, they're sprinkled in here and there. There's, that come up later on that you can see coming. But it's just to the point where like, there's no really sense of plot besides get from point A to point B and not get killed, basically. And all, random adult comes into the mix, they get taken out. Another random adult comes, they get taken out. So it's just that constant beat for beat, just like straight carnage and gore. Like the gore really doesn't stop. Which again, it's not bad if you want a gore film. But to the point, it just like, it felt like it was really like trying and not, like not holding back any punches. And it just didn't really kind of live up to like, it's just like, I don't really exactly know how to explain it really. It's just like it's trying, like I said, it's just trying way too hard to be something. And it's just like, look, we're cool, aren't we cool? Look what we're doing, this is cool, right? And it's like, again, if you like that sort of chaos, nonstop, violent, no story, like again, I don't mind, just violence on top of violence. Again, I watch a lot of German shot on video films that just like as cheap as can be, and just like there's hardly any plot really, and it's just people going trampling through the woods, and then there's a killer, and then like, oh, just like it's very specific. Like this is one of those specific crowds. If you just want to turn your brain off and just watch blood splatter, you're gonna have a fun time with it. Again, like it's just like a lot of parts of this film just reminded me of like too many other films of the same ilk. Like it reminded me of Mr. Ice Cream Man from 1996, because that also has an ice cream man that comes into town, a little boy that starts noticing something different from the ice cream man and all the kids disappearing, and like him and his other friend are trying to figure out the reason why the ice cream man, they have him like the ice cream man's like in the same not the driveway, but the street that the boy lives on. That's like, he's like sitting outside his house and he's like gesturing the little boy to come out so he can give him stuff. And so they had that part. Of course, you have the last act of Weapons as the majority of this film. So if you like the last act of Weapons, this is basically stretched out into an hour and 40 of that, with more over the top gore and carnage and bloodshed. Like I said, there's a part where like they take an ice cream scoop and it has a little blade that comes out the bottom, and they take the skull of a police officer and scoop his brains out and feed it to him. So there's just like nonstop stuff like that. And then again, you get a little bit of story in there of the ice cream man and the reasoning he's there. Again, that brought back We All Scream for Ice Cream, the Masters of Horror episode, with like he's feeding the children like the little human ice cream pops, and like that causes the parents to melt and integrate. And so like, again, it's just like reminding me of that, because like he's getting revenge for something that happened to him prior, and so it's just like all these things amalgamate into one. Like it's all that in the blender, but just like put in some Terrifier gore and you have yourself a film. Like I said, it's not, it isn't terrible. I mean, but it's just one of those where it's just like, honestly, I wasn't too into it. Like the gore was fine. It's just like, it just didn't really do much for me. Like, again, I appreciate a good gore film. Like, again, I can handle it. It's just like, I don't know. It tried way too hard. Yeah. It's just like, look at us, like we can do it too. It's just like,
I mean, it. So I started reading a comic series called Ice Cream Man, and it looks almost identical to the main character. I thought, and I was just like, I was hoping it was going to be something like that because that comic is a anthology film about a guy, a supernatural being who goes around gives kids ice cream, and bad shit happens. Except for he doesn't make the kids do bad things; just shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the kids do bad things. It just depends on the story. But I was just like, I was really like kind of hoping that, uh, that's what was the case. And I don't know. I was kind of disappointed, um, but it this movie did seem a little weird to me. Like something felt off about it. But I still
Yeah,
want to go see
it
it.
does.
I
It
still
kind of, once
might.
you watch it, I mean, it does kind of feel like there's something missing to make it complete. Like it has all the ingredients, but it's just like it felt like it just didn't turn out right in the oven.
Yeah.
It just felt. And there's a lot of other issues with the film too. Like there's like one scene of ADR where like the kids are in the playground and like they're again, it's like a very minor scene, but it's like again, we'll talk about ADR here in a minute. But like that's just like you can see their talk, like the audio doesn't match what their lips are moving. And then of course like the whole thing now is like the use of AI in the film, and like again like we watched Frankenstein's Bride not too long ago, and like that whole last act was AI prompts, and of course like Charles Band has been doing that for his latest films. Like Quadrant is like all AI for like the city scenes and everything, landscapes. Like he's used AI there. So like again, everyone's pissed off at Eli Roth for using AI, which could have been on the little videos shown on the phone, or it could have like mainly the ones I saw it in was the flashback sequence. Like that was mainly where all the AI came in because there was there's a certain, I don't want to give it away, but there's a certain uh, figure that shows up, and like that was AI. There's like a hand coming out of a grave and coming back down. That was AI. And there's a courtroom scene, and like you can see the parents like outraged and pointing their finger. That was definitely AI, because it had that uncanny look to it. Um, but again, everything else, like again, there's like some practical effects. There's some little digital here, like when they're pulling the skull off the guy's brain, his head. Like there's a uh, little bit of gore there where it was pulling the slime off the brain. Um, but yeah, like it's for what it was, it's okay. It's nothing amazing. But if you like that sort of you know I wouldn't say throwback, sort of like Beware Children at Play, where it's just like constant kids murdering people, but like to the umpteenth degree with like crazy gore. Like they're on the teeter totters, and each end of the teeter totter, there's a head from where they're going up and down on the head where it's caved in. Um, there's just there. I think there's a sledgehammer scene, and then of course like the main again with the kids is like they're sort of zombie like, and so when they get the ice cream, they're they want other children to eat the ice cream, and if you're a teenager, you go numb or you're paralyzed, and that's a whole nother thing when Jared's sister Lizzie gets into the tossed into the mix, and so it's not again it's not terrible, but it's fine for what it is. It's just nothing amazing,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, like I said, it's trying to be something, and like there's a dark tone to it, or a mean spirited tone, but it felt like it needed to sort of keep that mean spirited throughout. It was too like giddy and goofy for the film, and then just to have like the last act just go for that mean nature to it, and just it felt like it needed to kind of keep that tone throughout, instead of just like if you're gonna have it all you know goofy for the majority of the film, just keep it that way and then just not go that dark tone. You know, you need to have like some kind of substance throughout to make it earn it. And I felt like it didn't really earn the ending, you know, because it did the whole Pied Piper thing with the children and the ice cream. But it is what it is. It's like I said, it's not terrible. But it's just nothing really amazing. Like the gore and the effects was solid. I won't say it wasn't that way. You know, because it was different, you know, variety of kills, and if you want that, you have enough of that in spades. And of course, the girl walking around with her severed mom's head, that was a constant thing. And but yeah, it's fine. It's just nothing amazing. Like if you like Killer Kid movies, you're gonna check it out. If you like over the top gore, you're gonna check it out.
Yeah.
But again, it takes everything that we watch, you know, that I've seen before, and just put it in a blender. You know, just like they took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and mixed it in there and made its own concoction. Again, I don't know how many people's out there's actually seen Mr. Ice Cream Man from '96. I mean, it is a deep cut, and it's like not readily available. Like it came out on VHS and then DVD and then re-released by SOV Horror like a few years ago. But yeah, it's not one of those easy, readily available movies. I mean, I could see it getting re-released again on Blu-ray, but I don't know. It's one of those. It's a too much of a deep cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's fine. I mean, I think I've pretty much discussed everything I can. I don't want to get too specific into spoilers, but I just wanted to bring up a few pinpoints. But Ian, any final thoughts?
None that I can think of.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But yeah, I don't know how well it's doing at the box office. I mean, again, I think I only saw it with, like I said, 15 or so people, including myself, and that was first showing on a Saturday at 7:00. So when you're only having, and the crazy thing is, there's a 3-year-old in there too. So that little boy, it's like, I always love to say like these little kids that shouldn't be in films, they shouldn't be attending. Like is when the parents took their daughter to Deadpool. It's like she's like 4, she shouldn't be in Deadpool. But this kid was 3 and he didn't make a peep. He was enjoying it. So hats off to that kid. Starting them young. That's what we want. Young horror fans. But yeah, that's going to do it for Ice Cream Man. And so we will go into our main portion of the show. And this is one that Ian mentioned, you know, when we were getting ready to come up with the show ideas last week. I was like, Ian, what do you want to do? And I think we did this last year. And you said, let's do something school related, back to school, because technically it's back to school time. Summer's almost over, and well, you know, school's getting back into session, and so I was like thinking, okay, there's not really much that I can go through, and you know, I don't want to do something different because we haven't, you know, done anything like this for a Boneyard, and I had one specifically that I've been holding off on, and that is a film entitled Hellementary: An Education in Death, and this is from 2008. It's from 2008. The DVD says 2008. The end card says 2008. I think it premiered on Chiller TV somewhere. I don't know where, but that was in 2009. So I think that's where it got its 2009 date. But the thing with Hellementary and Education in Terror is because it is insanely impossible to find, which is the reason for the Boneyard, it being lost. And so it showed on TV for, again, on Chiller Channel somewhere. I don't know whether it was in Canada or the States. I think it was a different Chiller than the one we had in the States. It could have been the same one. I have no idea. But this was directed by Andrew Smalley, and there's a lot of talk out there. One of the few message boards, like how it was with Brutal and on Reddit, and then this one has also a Reddit page, and they're like talking about how to find it and what's the best way to get it. And like I said, so I want to come up with, we'll show the actual DVD to show that there is a DVD that exists. So Ian, if you want to put up the main DVD, well, this is the disc, as you can tell. It is signed by Andrew Smalley. So he had his hand in it some way. And then if you want to show the other images in,
Yeah.
That's the back of it.
And
then there's the front. So there it is. The DVD copy exists. And but it's just, again, it's one of those where I guess it was only sold in limited qualities. And again, you don't know how many people actually bought the film. Again, I like to get a little bit more information on that, but there's hardly any information out there until after we post the review, and then everything starts flooding in sometimes. But as you can tell, there is actually a DVD copy. It is available. It was available, but it's not lost. Technically, it is, but it's not. There's a physical copy right there. And so a lot of people, there's another message on this Reddit page, which I'm going to read. This is from 16 days ago, where he says, I've been searching for years and tried my luck getting a hold of the cast crew. I did manage to get a hold of one of the cast members. His response came today. Hi there. Unfortunately, Hellementary never saw a physical release due to contractual issues with the production company. As far as I know, there's no copies that exist, I'm sorry to say. Well, again, I hate to break it to you, but there's a physical copy, as we just showed. So take that for what it is. So I guess it just slipped under the cracks. But again, like on their website, 529 Films, that's where I guess you could have bought the DVD. And the film was shot in an abandoned school located in Russell Township, Ohio, November 2006, with major photography being completed in 2007. And so this was mainly shot in Ohio. So again, that's like all the back history I can give you on the film, the physical release. I mean, I found it on eBay, as I always do. It was just the right time, right place. And like, this looks interesting. I couldn't find it. And I got confused. There's another film that it gets confused with called Hell Week. And so I was like, okay, is it the same film? Is it just a re-release? No, it's a completely different film. But I just had to bring that up because I always like to give the backstory to these boneyards and as much information as I can to relay it out there to get hopefully more to come in, in response to the review. Now comes the fun part of reviewing the movie. And Ian, boy, do we have a movie.
Oh yeah.
So again, we're no slouch to low budget indie filmmaking. Like, again, we've watched a lot of stuff. The thing is, this film, it has good intentions. I think the film is, before I get into the main story of the film, I think there's good intentions that they had. I just think everything kind of dampened around them after the film was completed. But we'll get into it. So Hellementary, An Education in Death from 2008 is about these group of college kids, I'm assuming, college kids, and they're breaking into a old abandoned school. And their soon-to-be professor, Jeff, is taking them to this school to locate this book, because this school has this history of a incident that happened many years prior, where these kids were playing around or doing something and they get detention, and one of the students in the detention class survives while all the other students were basically mutilated and killed. They proceeded to put that character into a psychiatric house or mental ward. Andy was his name. And so basically they just abandoned the school. And now, like, Jeff, and again, there's too many names of all the students that came along with Jeff, but I'll just give a rundown. Steve, Brad, Nikki, Chris, Sarah, Kim, Matt, and Terry. Really, we just need to pinpoint our sole focus on Sarah, because she ultimately becomes the main character as the film progresses. But they break into the school, They start seeing shadows. Things start to happen. There's like uh, ghost children, spirit children, um, starting to come and go. And then there is this, as the film progresses, there's this figure, um, dominant figure of this sort of, um, as Jeff says, it's a sort of a teacher from like the pilgrimage, I guess, like somewhere in there. But he looks like a pilgrim, and I think his name's Josiah. And he is, again, I'll just go out and say it because we're going to be talking about too much other things anyway. He is, um, he wants this book because he needs the book to collect the souls of people to do something with. And so what he's doing is he's going around attacking the students and collecting their souls, um, and keeping them, to again do whatever higher thing he needs to do, to stay alive or bring something forth or just to do whatever. It's the MacGuffin basically, the book. And so for the majority of the film, it's just the students hanging around. Some of them talk. There's a lot of elongated scenes of nothing where they're just waiting around for something. The very first section of that is where they can't get into the school, and so Jeff and another student go to the window, and Jeff goes in, and the student goes back to the stairs at the door, and so we wait and we wait and we wait, and so they just, again, a lot of waiting in the film. And so like, oh, the door, I can't open it, it's locked from the other side, and so they all have to go back in through the window that Jeff went through. And so they find the room, and the hunker down there as home base, and then they just start talking about the history and the lore, which I've already mentioned, of the school and why it's condemned. And soon, again, you have ghost children, because the ghost girl is telling Sarah, like, you're the key, you need to, you need to stop him and everything like that. And so we have all the other character, students. We have Kim and Matt. They go and they start making out and having, sort of start having sex in the one of the classrooms. Um, and just like, again, they all just kind of go their own way, and then they meet back up later on. And like I said, there's good intentions with the film. I just think the problem is that the dubbing and the ADR for it is atrocious. Um, Now we've had some bad ADR, and I think we mentioned it before. But like when you ADR something, you need to have more to it, because it's lacking that natural ability of like what you're trying to convey in the scene. It just feels like you're phoning it in, and that's what a good majority of this movie felt like. In the like, I like the story that they're trying to tell, and I like the look of Josiah and the what he is there for. He's this big hulking figure, just coming through the hallways, and it's very imposing. But what they do with it, because they are, each of the students are getting killed in various ways, and one's getting pulled underneath a rug and showing up in a locker, and then just he explodes in blood. Another one is, again, a desk gets smashed down on him and goes through his neck. So like some of the deaths are cool. There's even though I don't understand why the one, I mean, we're getting into spoilers, but it is what it is. But like when the ghost girl touches Jeff on his neck, and he just like, tag, you're it, and he flies up and he hits the ceiling, and then he just, his soul gets collected. Like, like she's like telling everyone, like Sarah, like, you need to do stuff. Like, she's trying to be the helpful, but like she's like helping at the same time. I don't know. It's just like one of those things. Like, it's probably not, like, she was probably there, and then like, oh, he's right there, and he pulls him up. It is what it is. But everything else, it's just really the dialogue and the writing, because of the ADR, is, I'll say it again, it's atrocious. Because it is just the same dialogue, rinse and repeat ad nauseum. and it's like it's the best dialogue there's ever written.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean that like it's very pedestrian because the ADR, like again, it's not natural, and the ADR makes it come off as unintentional comedy, when it's supposed to be this serious film. It's this serious, haunted school movie, and like it's just some of the dialogue, like Brad's dead, Steve's dead. What happened to Brad? Brad's dead. and then and then of course another one like, oh my god, there's another character that she gets tossed out of a window, and then she lands into the floor of the gym, and so they see this happen. She's like, again, like 20 25 feet in the air, and she gets thrown through a window and she lands. Oh my god, she's dead. How do you know? And I didn't say like that meant like, how do you know she's dead? No, that's literally a sentence that comes out one of the characters' mouths. How do you know she's dead? It's ridiculous. Oh, but yeah, I know I'm going all over the place. And again, the film it's very pedestrian. I mean, it's very for its time. Given that it is a low budget film, I see the good nature of the film and what they wanted to do with it. It just felt like they had a lot of issues when it comes to like making this, because of like just sound issues in general. So I guess there must have been a lot of technical problems, or it was a choice. I have no idea. But also some of the ADR, some of the characters sounded exactly the same. Like Sarah and I think Nikki was another one. Like they sound like tit for tat, the same person. Maybe one had an octave higher and one was speaking lower. But it's like they sound the same cadence and everything. So it felt like just like they couldn't get like some of the actors to come back to do their lines through ADR, so they had to get the ones that was there. Like, hey, can you do this for the other character? And he didn't differentiate it up at all. And so that was very distracting because like you're trying to get all these characters and like some of the characters sound exactly the same. So like, I don't care, It's just one of those where it's like, Jesus, this is very glaring problems. But again, that's the case for low budget indie horror, especially something like this. Again, they tried, like for the idea of the film, it's there. Again, it's nothing amazing. It's been done. How many times have you seen said students break into a abandoned building or an abandoned school and they get picked off by some supernatural entity? It's been done before. Again, I like the look of Josiah, and I like his sort of, like I said, he has a good silhouette when he's walking through a hallway, just all black, and just like he's looking, the pilgrim outfit that he's wearing and the hat, the brimmed hat. I thought that was really interesting. And of course, he has black eyes, to show that he's collecting souls. And it's just like everything that he does it's cool, and it's a very imposing figure. But just like everything else, it's just like the dialogue is just, again, it's atrocious. It's just the most pedestrian dialogue there is. And it's just like, it needed to be more, it needed to be gone over another once or twice. And just like, because it's the most just simple dialogue and conversations that there could ever be. And it's very glaring. And it's just, it doesn't really take you out of the movie because it's fine, but it's just very, it's very obvious that's the glaring issue of the film, because it's pretty main, like again, there's been a dozen, hundreds of these type of films over the years, before and since, and it's just like, at least they tried. And again, they just, technical issues be damned, they got it out there, even though it is technically lost. But it's just very, another one that reminded me of was, it was a Sci-Fi Channel premiere, like Ghostquake, whereas another one where like kids are like in detention and the school's haunted, and then like they all start getting picked off by the school, or the not the school, it was the principal. It was like the ghost principal or something like that from years prior. But it for what it was okay. It's just too many, that ADR just really dampers the film. Just like at a certain point, you're just left there like, man, I am zoned out, and like it goes exactly where you think it goes, and it's for what it is. It's like I said, it's fine, but it's not one of those. It's like really worth the effort to go out there and search for it, in my fair opinion. But Ian, your thoughts, and then we'll go back and forth on what's left to talk about.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to this film. Kind of just walking through a school, getting haunted, and picked off one by one. It wasn't bad. The audio and dialogue definitely was left to be desired, but it wasn't that bad. It was just the line delivery was, and a lot of them was just absolutely comical, and it wasn't supposed to be. And I'm like, yeah, it happens, especially with these like underground indie artists. They can't be perfect, but I enjoyed it. I liked the ghost effects. It didn't look too awful. I kind of just wanted a little more from it. It did start like kind of by the halfway.
Chasing its tail. Yeah, it was chasing its tail a lot.
Yeah, meandering around a lot. And like I felt like it maybe could have been a little shorter, or give us just something a little more in between, because it was just like, okay, these kids are having a party kind of thing, and bad stuff happens. The end. And I mean, it was interesting to a point, but it, like you said, it just chases its tail, and there's nothing really to like grab a hold of with this, because of just how like it's just too straightforward. And
yeah, maybe they needed to go more into detail about like Josiah and his soul collecting habits. Like it's just like, oh, he's collecting souls, and like maybe they brought it up a little bit in the, when they first get to the classroom and they're setting up everything there for home base. But like it's very like because he's going through that, and then they do the old jump scare, like oh ooga booga, and like oh how dare you, and like they could have just like maybe detailed the reasoning. Because he is a central focus point as the film progresses, and you just kind of don't understand why. And then like Sarah and the reasoning for her, like she has the key, and like, oh, it's an actual key. Like she's not the key. She has a key in necklace form that her mother gave her. And so like, oh, this is one of those on the nose things. Like, I don't know. It just felt like it needed, again, a little bit more. Like I said, it needed more script.
Yeah,
than just
like
basic bitch dialogue.
Exactly. And just like, why a school? And why, like, and I mean, half the movie is just them looking for that book.
Yeah, they're just going through hallways and classrooms, and they get stuck in a classroom, and then someone comes along and breaks them free. Whether it's, again, minor spoilers, but Andy, the one that survived the initial murders in the school, he is living in the school, and he took the book and he hid it in the gymnasium to keep it away from Josiah. And so, like, he's coming around, and he, like, breaks them free with the crowbar if they're locked in there, even though whatever. And then, like, two other characters get locked in, and then, like, the ghost girl opens the door. So, like, they're just, like, in a predicament, like, oh, it's an easy way out. Like, we're locked in here. How are we going to get out? I don't know. Door opens. That was simple.
Yeah, it was just like too convenient at parts. And I was just like, man, what, like, this ghost has been in here for years. Like, how is he scared of Jim? Like, how is he not finding this himself? Like,
Apparently, he knows where it's at because the snake that's in there with the book, and like, oh, it's an illusion. Then, like, why is he putting an illusion in there for? I don't know. Like,
he wants it back.
Well, obviously, he can't get to the book because he needs the key, which Sarah has. So he's been in there. I can't do anything because I need the key, and it's in this suitcase with the book inside of it. I don't know. And like, there's an incantation they need to perform to stop the curse. I guess it's a curse. I don't. Again, it's up in the air. Whatever the whole sole purpose of Josiah is. I mean, I swear they talked about Josiah and the reasoning, but like, I don't think they even mentioned like what for during that scene. And it's just like him going around attacking the students, and just like, and another stupid one. And there's just like stupid scenes, like when the table levitates, when the two kids are making out on having a hot makeout session, a lot of boob grabbing, and like the ghost girl writes "leave" on the chalkboard, and they step back and they're against the chalkboard, and the desk levitates up, and then like run, and she gets underneath the table, and it's like, it's a desk. You could have gone either side. You didn't have to go directly under it, and then it collapses on him. Like, you're not even trying at this point. It's just one of those where you turn your brain off type of ordeals. It's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, like, again, like, the dialogue is literally the weakest aspect of this film, because the film itself is very pedestrian for what it is. It's basic premise. You've seen it done before. But again, I think they had a good intentions, because I liked what they were going for with Josiah, and like, they just needed to have him go more in depth on his character. They kind of did that when Andy got involved, some of the backstory, but it still was kind of hit or miss in that regard. And it's just like the ending is your basic ending, like, oh, we got it. No, we don't. So for what it is, like I said, it's nothing amazing. I mean, I give them, like I said, good intentions were there, but I think something happened, like the technical issues, either like they lost all the audio or something happened where they had to do the ADR. But like, that's really the main issue with the film is the writing and the ADR. And I don't think it's really the ADR. I don't think it's really his fault. I mean, it's a choice, but again, I don't know the technical aspects of what happened, if they lost it or not. But like the writing, that script could have been so much better. And I guess maybe it's his first film, I'm assuming, or first script that he wrote, but it is very basic in everything. And just like the dialogue is just, oh my God. Just like, again, I've already mentioned some of it, but like there's another scene, Ian, that happens, and oh, it is prime real estate, where one of the characters, like, they saw a janitor, because like, again, the spirits are still inhabiting the school, because I guess Josiah's like took the spirit of the teacher and the janitor and another person, and they're still roaming the halls. And so there's a sequence earlier on where like they see a janitor, and he's cleaning up the bathroom where like all the blood is, and then like what was with the janitor? And then just another character out of nowhere says, some little girl was talking to Sarah, and like, will you stay calm? And like, it's just blunts it out there. It just like threw me. It's one of those where like saying it is not as funny as witnessing it in person. Like, when that happened, I think me and Ian both just fucking lost it.
Yeah, no, that was pretty. Calm down.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like that's not even like a sentence to like some little girl was talking to Sarah. Will you calm down? Like that's like those old those early, you know, Hollywood movies where like the woman's hysterical and then the guy slaps her to calm her down. That's sort of what that was. it's just it's just ridiculous. It's like again, like I'm starting to repeat myself, but like I see the good intentions and like I see where they were going and what they were aiming for, but that script was terrible and the dialogue written was especially terrible, and just having it ADR'd with no emotion hardly really kind of made it nails on a chalkboard for a good majority of it, and you lost all the impact that like they're in peril and trying to survive, and it comes off more, as I said, unintentionally hilarious. And it's just there's just like a lot of factors there, just kind of dampers it back a little bit, to where it's like it could have been an enjoyable little film. And like again, it's not terrible, like, but it could have been so much better.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that. I felt like there was just a lot missing from this film that would have made it really like shine.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the parts were there, it was just the execution. So,
but yeah, Ian, any final thoughts?
None that I can. No, I don't think I have anymore. I think we pretty much drained.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not much there to really go too much in depth with. I mean, we pretty much spelled it out, but I think that is going to do it for our special Boneyard of Hellementary and Education in Death from 2008. As I said, the best.
Oh, I think we might have lost Havoc. But, yeah, we lost him. All right, well, good night, everyone. And catch us next week.